morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and today's shout-out goes to Alexis Garrido. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Alexis was first to say first in one of my recent videos, and thus wins this shout-out. So congratulations. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here with a review of a neat new helicopter for once. Okay, this I think is the first helicopter I've ever reviewed. We're going to see how well this goes. This is the Eachine E119 Flybarless 6-axis stabilized helicopter. Okay, this is designed for beginner pilots, obviously. This is a beginner RC helicopter. Very easy to fly because it is stabilized. It has an actual stabilization system in here to automatically balance pitch and roll of the aircraft and yaw also. Okay, so that makes it very easy to fly for a beginner, as opposed to a helicopter does not have a stabilization system, which it can be quite difficult to fly. What's special about it is, you know, I mentioned it's flybarless. It actually has a swash plate here that gives you cyclic control, okay, which means you can change the tilt of the helicopter, its roll or its pitch, by adjusting the pitch on the blades as it spins around via this swash plate here, and these pitch control links, which will tilt the swash plate in the direction that you want the aircraft to fly, and that will adjust the angle of attack on the rotor blades as it goes through that position there. So, you know, increasing the angle of attack, say on this side here, that will increase the lift on it when the blades go spinning by this position here, which will tilt the aircraft to the left in that case. Or if you increase the tilt on the rotor blades when it's on this side, when they're on this side of the aircraft, it will tilt to the right. Same for pitching the aircraft forward to go in forward flight or in reverse flight. And you actually have an actual tail rotor blade here too that adjusts its speed to automatically counter the torque of these blades so this thing doesn't go spinning around like a top. Now, again, I mentioned 6-axis stabilized. You cannot turn off that stabilization. It is, you know, it's meant, again, for beginner pilots. So you can't really do tricks with this, but you can learn to fly a helicopter. You know, just actually flies very. I've already tried it in the house. It flies very similar to flying a quadcopter. Now, I mentioned the swash plate here. You have cyclic control, but you do not have collective control. Okay. Raising and lowering, what I mean by collective control is this swash plate can go up or down on a real helicopter all at once, so that you can increase the blade's angle of attack throughout the 360-degree circle to increase the to make the helicopter raise or lower. In a real helicopter, these blades spin at a constant speed, in effect, okay? This rotor blade spins at a constant speed, and you adjust the altitude of the helicopter by raising or lowering the angle of attack of the blades all through 360 degrees. That's the collective control. That's that stick that you see on the left side of it. Well, for those of you who've seen helicopter pilots, it's a stick to pull up or down on the older style helicopters. I don't know what they have on the newer helicopters these days. But again, it does not have collective control. It just has cyclic control, and you control the elevation of the helicopter by increasing or decreasing the speed of the motor, the throttle control of the motor to raise or lower it. That's not as effective as a true collective control. You know, there's going to be some up-down bouncing, but it's, you know, in this beginner's price range here, this should be more than adequate. Okay. Now it's available. Let's talk about the transmitter here. This is its transmitter. You got throttle control, again, I mentioned. This is how you go up or down. You give it more throttle, it goes up. You give it less throttle, it goes down. You got to find a sweet spot there to hover somewhere. You're going to manually have to find that sweet spot. So, with this, you can also turn or yaw it left or right via this control here. Turn left or turn right, or it'll just spin left or spin right. This will increase, again, the angle of attack on the blades when it's this is the pitch control, folks, is what I'm saying. But this is how you tilt forward or tilt back, and this is roll control. If you tilt to the right or tilt to the left, this will slide right or left. Okay, again, very similar to a drone, how you fly a drone. Okay, almost the exact same, to tell you the truth. Mine came with one 3.7 volt, 350 milliamp hour battery, very, very common battery, widely available. But actually, mine came with 3 of them. Okay, but I believe the actual package only comes with 1. I think my sponsor threw in another 2 batteries so that I could do a proper review, a long review for it. But in case yours doesn't come with 3 batteries, keep in mind, I don't know how many batteries this actually comes with. I see it listed on the website as only 1 battery, but there was 3 batteries in my package. What else do you get in the package? You get the battery charger for the batteries. You get a spare set of blades. You get a spare tail rotor. You get 2 pitch links, pitch control rods here, in case you break those little things. They are very tiny. They can break easy. And you get an Allen wrench to open up the quadcopter, and also a screwdriver too, along with your instruction manual, controller, and the aircraft itself. Now, looking at this aircraft, you know, those of you that have flown toy helicopters before might notice that this looks very similar. This to WL Toys. In fact, this is a WL Toys transmitter. You could tell by this red V-shaped light on the top of it here that it is WL Toys style transmitter. So this is rebranded, obviously, from WL Toys. And WL Toys does have an extensive catalog of these beginner style RC helicopters. What's the difference between this and theirs? Well, the only thing that I really could see is the advertised flight time, folks. This one is advertised to fly for 15 minutes. That's a long flight time. The WL Toys models were all advertised at 7 minutes. I don't know how they did that, folks. It looks very similar to what, like I said, this helicopter looks very similar to the other WL Toys helicopters, with the exception of the advertised flight time. We're going to take it out in the field today and see if it'll fly for that 15 minutes. But if it goes over 7 minutes, we know right away this has greater efficiency than the little WL Toys. But I don't know how they did it, because it looks very similar. One of the things I see different is the tail rotor motor is smaller than that on the WL Toys. This is a little 615 motor. See, yeah, 615. Although it's still, both use the same 8520 motor. This and the WL Toys versions. The tail rotor seems to be a smaller, less powerful motor. Maybe that's how they did it, you know, to decrease the power needed to go to the tail rotors. So, other things about this I forgot to mention is this tail rotor boom is carbon fiber, very strong, so it should be able to resist most crashes. In fact, all of this seems to be very flexible. I believe nylon blades and nylon landing gear, you know, so this should be able to bang itself up in your house if you do want to fly indoors. In fact, I think this is designed for indoor flying. I always fly outdoors, folks, if you notice my videos. But again, this is intended for indoor flying at home, at your home, to actually play with a helicopter. So let's take this out in the field, folks. You know, I want to fly it outdoors. Let's see how it flies. So hope you enjoy this flight. Good morning, Quadcopter 101, and we are out at one of my favorite flying fields for the smaller drones and smaller airplanes and smaller helicopters. This is going to be my first flight of a helicopter, folks. Actually, I flew this last night in the house. It was interesting. We're going to see how well I can fly it outdoors, folks. To fire this up, you got to turn on the transmitter first. Transmitter on, and I'm going to put it on the ground here. Notice it has a nice LCD screen telling you, what you're doing with pitch and roll and yaw, and also with trim controls. And I'm going to talk about trim here in a second, because there is a function here called debugging that you use to trim up the drone and make sure it stays, well, it's actually a calibration of the drone's gyros. And let's talk about that real quick. To calibrate this drone's gyros, say this thing drifts a lot, and say its pitch, it rolls to the left, even indoors with no wind, and you want to correct that. The first thing you want to try is to use the trim tabs below here to see if that corrects it. But if you want to permanently correct it, the way to do that is to hold this button down while turning on the transmitter, and then you turn the drone on, and then you put the drone into level flight, or try to hold it level, and then adjust that pitch control, and then you press this and hold this button down for 3 seconds, and it will remember that setting. That's called, what was that called? Debugging. They call that hover debugging. Normally you just have to move the sticks down and to the left on a drone, but with this one here, it's a little bit more difficult to do a gyro calibration. But again, this has been calibrated at the factory, so you should not need to do that. But if you do need to do that, look on page 6 of your manual and it shows how to do it. Okay, let's fire. Okay, I got the controller. Let's turn the controller off and on again. Okay, controller's been turned on. Now we turn on the drone. And you turn on the drone by simply plugging in its battery. Let me get the battery connector there. And plug in this little micro LoSi battery connector. Battery's been inserted. We got a solid red light on the back. That light blinks, by the way, when the battery gets low, so we're going to keep an eye on the light. Okay. Well, we should be actually bound to the drone, and we are to the helicopter. Okay, this will be its takeoff, first takeoff outdoors, and I'm giving it a little throttle, and we'll see if it takes to the air. It does very nicely. Now it's drifting with the wind. I got a little bit of a wind here, but let's see it fly. It flies exactly like a drone. Okay, keep in mind, this is the first time I've ever flown a helicopter, but this one flies exactly like a drone. I'm actually surprised how easy this is for me to fly it. Now, beginners are not going to be able to fly it like this. Those who have never flown a drone before. But if you've flown drones before, you are going to be easily able to fly this. Now it's drifting backwards. What's it doing there? I don't know why I drifted backwards. I put it back on the ground again, but do I got power? Maybe I was flying out of range of this. Couldn't be. This thing's supposed to have 100 meters range. Okay, coming around, coming around. Okay, bringing it closer. Maybe it isn't as easy as I thought. It's got a bit of a drift. But hold it there. I got a wind behind me. That's one of the issues of it. But let's go into that one. Now I'm going to try higher rate. Pressing the rate button. And it flies a lot faster. Whoa, it turns on a dime. Look at that. In high rate. Can it go up higher? Going up higher. Going back to beginner rate, by the way. That's a little too risky for me going at high speed like that. But going up higher in future, and wow, it can go up high. We're going to come back down here. Coming back down. So yeah, this can fly high too. Getting some speed on it again. Okay, I was flying too far away. Now, let's try hovering it. Just trying hovering it in the light breeze I got behind me. Coming up a little bit to my eye level. Actually, let's put a tail boom toward me. It makes it easier to hover. For those of you who are into drones, you know that's true. Tail boom toward you, it's a little bit easier to hover it. But that is the 119. Now, it's supposed to have 15-minute flight time. Again, that's the main difference that I've seen between this and the WL Toys versions. And this is probably made by WL Toys. Boy, this thing flies nicely, though. This actually flies very nicely. Quick turn. Flies exactly like a drone with the 6-axis control. Exactly like a drone with 6-axis stabilization. Let's put it that way, folks. So if you've been flying toy drones before, you'll be easily able to fly this. Let's see if I can do some stunt flying. Not stunt flying, precision flying. Let's go around trees and things like that. Since this is a helicopter. How's my light? My light's not flashing yet, so we still got power. This is going to be hard in this wind, folks. There's a little breeze. Yeah, I'll just fly between. Well, better not. Here, I don't know about this being an outdoor or indoor flyer, folks. To tell you the truth, this thing's pretty sporty. I'm surprised. It's real sporty. with practice, I guess I would be able to do what I was planning to do there. I was going to try to do some precision flight through between the trees, but it... Okay, let me try it again. Try to go through those trees. Between the trees. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. I did it, yay! Yeah, I don't know, again, this is very sporty. You could fly it indoors, I guess, but it is a sporty little machine. I thought this was, and the price, at this price level, what I've seen in the past has been really disappointing in terms of helicopters. They weren't true helicopters. I mean, they'd have like a pitch up and down propeller in the back that would pitch the, if you wanted to go forward, it'd pitch the back boom up, but it wouldn't go that fast. It wouldn't fly anywhere near like as nice as this thing can fly. This thing flies nicely. It flies fast. Pretty neat. Now, the only improvement I would recommend for this, right now it's 6-axis stabilized. If they could put something on it like horizon mode where you could do flips or rolls or loops possibly with this, because I would imagine this could do loops. It's got a lot of power. For its, it's very lightweight. Its motor is more than sufficient to do tricks, I would think. I mean, it zips. A very zippy machine. I'm watching here, they're watering the fields here. I don't want to be watered. That's happened before when I was out here reviewing a drone. Let's bring that in. Let's see if I can hover it in front of my face. Let's try it. Try it, bring it. I'm looking at that little pitch control links on this thing, holding its position there. So there's the Eachine E119. Pretty neat little helicopter. Toy helicopter, but it's surprising what it can do. Let's give it a just punch. Not super punchy, but dang. Very maneuverable little thing. Okay, the wind's dying down, so I can do some more precision flying maybe. Or try to do some precision flying. How's my battery? Not flashing yet. Let's go over here again. The geese are here again today, for those of you who've seen my flight with the geese. That was pretty neat. I got a bit. That was fun. Let's see, what do I want to do? Maybe I better hold off. I don't want to crash into the sand. I didn't mention this, but this, has gears, gear reduction here. And I do not want to land this in the sand. Because sand gets in those gear teeth and you got to manually remove it with a pin. It becomes a pain. So, and you'll notice that you'll hear a noise. It'll make an unusual noise if you get sand in the gears. And that's true for all drones, especially these little brushed motor drones. And this is a helicopter, but drones have the same problem here. Look at that big gear reduction on the bottom there. See that big gear spinning there on the belly? That was vortex ring state there. Light's still strong though, so I still got power. Let me show you what I'm doing here. Forward pitch. Let's bring it down, reducing throttle. You got to keep a little forward movement on. If you come down too fast without movement, it does go into vortex ring state, which means it's going into its prop wash and losing lift. Pretty neat machine. I'm going to high rate. Coming around, coming around. Going real fast. Let's see how fast it'll go. Whoa. Come back over here. So this is not a bad little helicopter at all. I keep saying quadcopter. This is a helicopter. First one I've reviewed, folks. Easy to fly if you know how to fly a drone. It's exactly the same way as a 6-axis stabilized drone. Now don't expect it to automatically hover in place. As with drones, that requires practice to be able to hover. Let me show you. Let me go back to beginner. You know, to be able to just hover in place without moving, that requires a bit of practice here, you know, doing this. And you'll have to do that, practice, maintaining the throttle, and also at the same time adjusting the pitch roll stick to be able to do this. But with practice, you should be able to fly it like a champ. And again, at this price level, it's not too bad. It's a lot of fun. I think I might keep this thing. Instead of donating it to the local schools, this might be a keeper. Because it is fun. I'm surprised what it can do. Now the range on this is supposedly out to 100 meters. I would not do that. Especially if you're a beginner. Because you'll easily lose orientation maybe. But it supposedly has the range to do it, the ability to do it. I'll go out a little bit. Over to here, about 60 meters right there. And going up higher, let's go up above the lights. Going above the lights to show it has the range, and then coming back down again. And keeping forward moving as I come down. Okay, I lost signal there. Right about there, folks. I had lost signal, and it was just hovering in place, and then it dropped. And then it regained signal again, and I got it there. So I don't know about it having that 100-meter range. It seems to have a range of about 60 meters, to tell you the truth. Something like that, because based on how high I was and the angle I was at, it's about 60 meters, I'm guessing. But yeah, this flies a long time, so it's true. Higher efficiency on this than the WL Toys models. Zoom. All I want to do is go zoom, zoom, zoom with my helicopter. See if I can maintain the same altitude in the turn. By reducing throttle, there we go, and increasing throttle, increasing speed, turning and reducing throttle at the same time. So I maintain the same altitude. That's throttle management, folks. Requires practice. So, fun little learn to fly a helicopter. So if you've been flying drones or interested in trying helicopters, this one's a good one to transition to. It flies very well. Very easy to get into. Now there's going to be the helicopter crowd out there, the old farts like, you know what I mean. Like me, they're going to say, that's not a real helicopter. You shouldn't be flying with stabilization, I bet. They're going to be, whatever gets you in the hobby. Whatever works for you, folks. Boy, it's a long flyer. I ain't kidding. I think it is going to go for 50 minutes. That light's still going strong. That's just a little 350 milliampere hour battery in there. Boy, I wish it had a flip button too, though. That would make it really cool. Or a horizon mode option. So you get some speed, go like this, and then pull back on the pitch roll stick and then go through a loop. I think this could do it. This has the power. I mean, it really does have a lot of power. So yeah, this is indoor-outdoor. All the other toy quadcopter helicopters there was one other toy helicopter I flew with, and it was in the same price range, but it was awful. This one is not awful. Hello, little starlings going by me. This one's not awful at all. This one's excellent. I like it. How's my light? It's still steady. Look at that. It's still steady light. This thing is not tired yet. Wants to go. Wants to play some more. And I got 3 batteries, folks. Now, I would not recommend, if you got spare batteries with yours, if I was wrong, you know, if spare batteries come with yours, if you want to do back-to-back flights with those spare batteries, I strongly recommend you rest this quadcopter or this helicopter, especially its motor. You know, give it a rest of about 15 minutes before going on that next flight. Let that motor cool down, or else you'll be replacing that motor. If you're flying a long time like this, and without nonstop, going back-to-back, doing back-to-back flights, you might damage that motor, is what I'm saying. You know, just give it a rest about 15 minutes, and that'll cool down the motor enough that you can continue on flying. Boy, I'm getting a handle of this. Feels good now. When I first started, I go, it's a little bit awkward, a little bit different. Not much, though, but a little bit. You got to keep forward movement on it there if you want good control. And bringing it in, pitching forward, and give it a little throttle when you pitch forward. That helps it. So, yeah, I'm getting hang of it now. Is that light flashing now? Let me take a look. I think it is. Yep, definitely is flashing. Let me show you that. Can you see that, folks? I don't know if you saw that or not. But I'm going to have to land it now. Now is the time to land it. Light is flashing. See it? Okay, so we will land it here. And that's the flight of the Eachine E119. Long flying, pretty cool little helicopter. I liked it. It was a lot of fun to fly. So I hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101. Helicopter 101. Signing out. Hi, Quadcopter 101 here again. Hey, if you want to get your own shout out in one of my future videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's real simple. Just go to my channel page and click on that subscribe. And also make sure to click that bell button right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when I release a brand new video immediately and give you a chance to get that first shout out. So give it a try, folks.